the El Camino del Diablo. This trail lies within some of the most inhospitable and dangerous terrain of the Sonoran Desert. The sun-bleached animal bones and the many grave sites along the way are a testament to how dangerous this trail can be.
Good thing the new phones are waterproof.
This is part 2. Good morning, everybody. Just woke up in camp. Gonna take a look at some of the history areas here, the mine shaft, and maybe drive up to the reservoir if I have time. And then gonna get some breakfast going and set down camp. The sun's just kind of peeking over the mountains right now. Had a beautiful sleep. I forgot how much I like that tent and how comfortable a sleeping bag with mat can be when you're tired. So yeah, I'm all well rested and ready for another day of adventure on the motorcycles. But I think I should start setting down camp a little bit sooner because everyone else has mostly like motorized or just really fast setups. One thing with a ground tent is it's still a ground tent, so you still have to set up everything and put down everything yourself. So it might take me a little bit longer. So I'll get started at that right away. So I'm just reading a bit of the history of the mine shaft here, and it turns out this huge hole in front of me, this huge mine shaft, actually wasn't the main one. This was a secondary one built after the first one. They lost the ore vein, and they dug this one a little bit away from it to try and find it again. The original mine shaft was about 800 feet deep, which is pretty hard to believe just how deep they actually went in the middle of the desert here. And then the one in front of me is even deeper at roughly 1,100 feet. And it said that they also dug out sideways a few times trying to find it, but couldn't find any more ore. But you know, right now it's just the shaft, and it looks like over the years some of the walls have kind of caved in. But originally there was a 50-foot iron and wood structure that kind of stood up over here, which they called the gallows frame, and that's what they used to lower the men's equipment down to them. But then also that's how they got the rock and ore out. I'm not exactly sure how that worked. When I first saw this isn't what I was expecting of a mine. You know, typically, or at least in your head, you think of something going this way and across. But yeah, this is just a straight down hole. I love old abandoned things, and sometimes even when they put up a barbed wire fence around it, it makes me like it even more. Not exactly sure why, I just kind of love that old abandoned look, especially like factories or old workplaces like mine shafts. But this is pretty neat. Take a look. Got camp packed away. Everything's in the bags and ready to go. Everyone else is ready to go as well, so I'm going to turn around the bike and get ready to keep making our way down the El Camino del Diablo. Ooh. Try not to drive off a cliff here. So it looks like we're going to be heading up to that reservoir, which is another historical site for us to check out. And it's actually a really, really steep road up there from the looks of it. So I'm going to have to maintain my speed, but at the same time I can't really go too fast because I'll need to stop at the top before I go over the hill and just go plunging down the other side or something. This is where I mean, technically a motorcycle can still make it up easier as far as like the actual machine. But as far as me as a rider, this is where a Jeep's a lot easier because you're just sitting there. But let's go for it. It's not as steep as I thought. Never mind. Don't want to jinx it, but still. Shouldn't be too bad. That wasn't too bad. Oh, a lizard. Ooh, I'm dying. Oh wow. So here's the reservoir. It's a lot bigger than it looks. Man, I wish I was full of water right about now, so I could jump in and cool off. So excited to come see this reservoir. I think we forgot something. We left Peter way up over there to film us coming out of camp. And then we drove up to look at the reservoir, forgetting him. So he had to walk with his big camera all the way. Poor guy. You look like that guy from King Kong running away from the raptors with his giant tripod. I look that old? Yep. Oh, that was interesting. Definitely worth a quick peek. I've got Onx Maps, which is a map system we started using recently, and I'm absolutely loving it. So I think I can find my way now. I'm still kind of learning how to use it, but at least now I have a bit of navigation so I can head out on my own and not have to, wait for directions as much. But still going to be staying fairly close to everybody. Alright, so as you can see here on Onx, we're on the main trail now, and these gloves aren't picking up the screen, but this green trail is the one we're going to be following quite a ways on into the mountains. Man, every time I stop driving for like
a few seconds, I instantly start sweating pretty hard. Today is a much higher temperature than yesterday. It is really quite hot. I gotta be careful and make sure I drink enough water because I don't want to pass out on a motorcycle. Because it is that hot today. And especially with the amount of movement and work that goes into driving on a trail like this, it is quite easy for me to get heat exhaustion or something. Especially because I'm a Canadian guy that's not very in tune with the heat, so that's also something I got going against me. I kind of feel like a moving camera. Just the way everything looks through my goggles kind of looks like a lens, and then I'm following their Jeep and just kind of looking at their tires flex and stuff, just admiring it. It looks like I'm watching some sort of show. So from what I understand, this first part that we're doing is actually one of the rougher parts of the trail. And I believe it kind of flattens out, or at least maintains kind of this sort of difficulty for most of the way. Which, I mean, like I said yesterday, I'm not complaining about the off-road driving. I love doing it. But, you know, day on day, and especially in this heat, I'm not complaining about it being a little bit smoother either. Especially like if I were riding with other bikes, like with some of our friends or with Pete, and we were doing this, then I'd prefer it to stay like this. But since I'm riding with a convoy of Jeeps and trucks, and I want to kind of stay close to everybody, then it kind of makes this trail more difficult than it actually is, because I have to go at a slower pace to stay in view. And there's no getting around it. It's not the Jeep's fault. It's not the four-wheeled vehicle's fault. It's just a really rough trail. And even if, you know, like I mean, I could go ahead and start riding like the whole trail and then just meeting them in camp if I really wanted to, but this is a pretty dangerous area, so I wouldn't do that even if I had the option. So I am enjoying myself though. This is such a beautiful ride. It's crazy that this sort of thing exists. Like, this is the sort of thing you see in, you know, like some of my old favorite Western movies. But to be riding through here is truly special. Man, that was harder than the trail. So we're coming out of the mountains now, and way off in the distance it looks like there's giant sand dunes. And I believe there's a military training base near here, or like an old one, because on Onx, the trail is called like Barry's, or Barry United States Marine Corps firing grounds or something. Hopefully that doesn't mean I'm driving into like a live artillery range or something. Although that would make for a very exciting video. It wouldn't make, you know, probably wouldn't be the best thing to happen. I'm not really that desperate for views that I would get shelled by artillery. But I will drive the Camino Del Diablo for you. Okay, I believe we keep going this way. Look at this sand. That is like sandy sand. Such small grained sand. Yep, that's the right way. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Oh, this place has such a beautiful vibe to it. Just open flats again. Man, this feels good after the rocks. Oh, let that air flow into my suit. Wow, what beauty. Man, this is like Akatia Wells. We rented some laser engineers. Wonder what that means. We rented some four-wheelers back in the day and drove around the Akatia Wells area. And that's what this reminds me of. Just flat, fine sand and gravel that you can really just pick up and go on. I mean, guys, take a look at this. Like, how much did the scenery change in 5 minutes? I mean, we came out of the mountain range there and into the lowlands, and it's just flat. Like, I believe these are called Akatia cacti, or something like that. That just is all over the place, as well as those little shrubs. Wow. Now this is like flat. You can't really see farther than like 200 feet because since it's all roughly the same level and the brush is, you know, at least 2 feet high, it just kind of stops after a while. Pretty interesting. And then with the heat as well, like the heat waves bouncing up behind these cactus are, you know, distorting the view of anything farther than that. Now I feel like I'm in the Lucky Luke cartoon. Halfway down this trail, I'm going to be so thirsty, I'm going to start seeing mirages. Mirages of lakes, go diving into a sand pit. Oh, okay. Unexploded ordnance. Do not enter. Trespassing, handling, or removal of munitions is prohibited by law. Violators will be subject to prosecution. Okay. Well, now I know where I'm not gonna go, and that's off the road. Although, seeing some unexploded munitions would be neat. I'd rather not blow up today. Oh yeah, that is Border Patrol. That's a pretty interesting machine they got set up there in the back of that truck. Wow. Looks like some pretty high-tech radar there. Pretty cool. Just goes to show you how close we are to the Mexican border. Alright, so it looks like we got a nice straight run for a long time. So I'm gonna go up ahead and start making my way. So yeah, so that first part was definitely the roughest. I'm not sure how the mic is faring in all this wind, so I apologize, but it's gotten a lot smoother now. It is loose sand, so I'm still, you know, being careful or mindful of my speed. But this is definitely giving me a nice cool down, both for the bike and for myself. Oh, that is some sand. Oh boy. Was not expecting that. It's actually quite difficult to tell what's sand and what's gravel because it's all mixed together, and with the lighting right now, and especially since the sun is in front of me and glare on my goggles, it all kind of looks the same. It's just different shades. So I don't know when I can speed up and then when I'm supposed to slow down, because I mean, you can go really fast on sand, of course, but when you're transitioning from hard ground into soft sand and you're not ready for it, you can your front can dip in or slide out quite easily. Whoa, almost lost it there. Just man there. trying to find the soft spot, but sometimes I have to cross over to a smoother route. And then I end up driving over like one of those kind of piled up sand areas where 2 tires would have gone side by side. And kind of keeps swerving from side to side like that. Throw me off balance. Ooh, this is sand. Looks like a nice sandy stretch for the next while. Fishtailing all over the place. I'm gonna try and keep my weight forward a bit. At least I honestly don't remember if you're supposed to put your weight forward or back. I'm almost certain it's forward, so that's what I'm gonna do. But the last time I drove on sand this sandy was the first time in the Anza Borrega, but even then I don't think it was this long of a stretch. It was just kind of like little sections, and me and P were heading into them more for fun than anything else. Oh boy. Ah! Coming next to these mountains again. I want to look at them, but with my skill, I got to keep my eyes on this road so I don't go flying off of it. I might stop by this tree and wait for everybody, though. Oh, no. I'm gonna just let it fall. Well, that's what happens when you slow down in sand. Whew. Too hot to care about that right now. Basically what happened is I was driving down this road in heavy sand, and then I came to a stop and dropped my bike, and it was extremely hard to pick back up because of the sand. And I try and put like weight on it and lift it, it would just slide. But we got it up.
Does anybody know what kind of tree this is?
Not too familiar with the vegetation here, but I'm glad it's here. It's a perfect place to rest for a bit while I wait for everyone to catch up. And gives me some nice shade because it is hot.
And I'm trying to avoid my ears getting sunburnt the most, just because when you take on and off a helmet a lot, especially if you're sunburnt, it can really rub down your ears. And you won't notice it the first day or two when you're riding, but if you ignore it by like day 3 and 4, whew, in some pain. I've actually taped my ears before, like taped them to my head so my helmet slides on a little bit easier. Some border patrol guys just went by on some quads. I'm not exactly sure how close we are, but I assume we're pretty close, just by that trailer with the radar on it and then those 2 guys. Man, I couldn't imagine going across this on foot, or like on horseback even, like back in the day. Oh wow. Not sure if you guys can hear that. Looks like 2 hawks or falcons or something. Looks like they're riding the thermal currents off the mountains or something, because they will dive down, like close their wings, dive, and then just shoot straight back up. Well guys, that was a nice rest. I definitely needed it. But it's time to get back on the road. Everyone's already gone by, so I'm gonna go catch up with them.
Almost forgot about the sand. Ooh wee, boy, sandy, sandy, sandy. Wow. Oh, that's sand. Ooh, that's sand. That'd be a nice camp spot. Ooh, boy. Need to stay focused. So beautiful, though. Wow. This is some loose stuff. Oh, is that oh, no way. Roadrunners. 2 of them. Meep, meep. I think about 50 miles an hour is my, the pace I'm going to be trying to keep. I could go faster, but at my skill level on this sand, I'm going to keep it around 50. So, just to give you guys an idea, that's where I am right now. And this line here is Mexico. So everything on this side is Mexico, and eventually we'll be like right along the border up there. But basically, like, right past me that way, and those mountains is Mexico. Which is pretty amazing that we're that close. Well, this is incredible, guys. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro yet, but the border wall is right in front of us. And I've never seen anything quite like it. I've seen the border wall before in Tijuana. But to see it out here in the desert is something completely different. It's just so, you know, out of place in the desert. This massive fence or wall just stretching out across the whole entire landscape. It's amazing. Wow. I'm not sure how much closer we'll be able to get, but I do know we get a little bit closer. I'm not sure I'm not sure from what I can see on the map. I don't think we'll be able to like get up to the point where we could touch it, but we're definitely getting really close. And I'll see if I can poach some of Peter's footage and get you guys a nice close shot with one of the big lenses on the bigger cams. It's funny, I'm actually noticing a weight difference now that the tank's full again. Only really when I'm like jumping over something or hitting a big bump, since the fuel tank is in the back of the bike. When it's full, there's a lot of weight back there, so when you do like kick up off something, it really lifts the back up. So wow. You know, what a place to ride, honestly. It's just, you know, I believe this trail can take up to 4 days. And on a motorcycle, if you're riding with other motorcycles, you might be able to make that 3 days, or 2 even, depending on who you are. But just to have a trail like this where you can ride for that long, and like we've done a few, and like on some of the BDRs and other trails we've been on, it's like there will be fun off-road sections and then gravel or pavement roads for a long time, and then you hop back off-road. But this is just straight up desert riding, and it's just very, very unique. I almost want to like jar some of the sand and take it to the island with me. Just so like bleach white. While I was stopped there, I had to check the skid plate and a few other pieces just to make sure they weren't rattling loose, because it's been a bumpy couple of days recently. And a while ago, when I was driving with Sean from the Story Till Now in Valley of the Gods, Monument Valley area, I didn't check for a couple days, and my skid plate actually fell off while I was driving down the highway, and it nearly threw me off my bike, which would have been extremely bad. So now I'm always aware of it, and I make sure to check it all the time, and if it starts getting somewhat loose, then I'll tighten it down, and if it's really loose, I'll take it completely off and, you know, re-Loctite it. We're heading back into the mountains now, and then we'll be heading into the Ocotillo Wells area fairly soon as well. I don't know if we're actually going to go anywhere near the wells themselves, but we'll be close by at least. I wonder where this will end up leading, because as of right now, it looks like if I keep going straight, I'll go whack dab into a mountain. Maybe there's a pass in between, or maybe we're going up one of the smaller walls. Oh, actually, I think it's just like an optical illusion, since all the mountain walls look the same. I can see that they start moving as we get closer. So we probably curve around this one right in front of us right here. Man, this is a weird mix. It's that deep sand, but with the rocks this time. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. From a distance, it just looks like a straight up rock wall. Hey, look, the ground's wet. Huh. Yep, that's sandy. But yeah, this whole area is much more vegetation. Obviously, because there's more moisture in the ground here, it seems. That's probably because we're getting towards the wells, which I believe are just natural, like, springs coming out of the desert ground. Wow, whatever kind of rock this is that all these mountains are made up of don't look real. Like, they have a really like almost hand-drawn look, if that makes sense. Now this is starting to look more like the trails in Salome. All right, so we just pulled over to look at this point of interest. Not exactly sure what it is, but we'll check it out.
Thank you guys for watching, and a special thank you to those of you who have subscribed to my Patreon channel. Your support really means a lot. Stay tuned for part 3 as we continue down the El Camino and show you just how tough getting water in the desert can be. The El Camino del Diablo still has a few tricks up its sleeve as we head into the roughest and most dangerous areas of the entire trail.
So this is Circle 8 gravesite. So apparently 8 people were murdered here. It's one of the 2 famous and well-preserved grave sites on the El Camino del Diablo.